And welcome, everybody. This is my co-host over here, Luis.
How you guys doing?
Luis, and I'm the Lone Star Picker. And guess who we have today below? Right here.
You guys know who this guy is.
I think George is back there somewhere.
There she is.
Is she out swimming? There she is.
No, she's there.
I can't get her in the water.
She's out there with that shark. Is that a shark?
They actually have 2 sharks out here quite a few times, but not today, unfortunately.
Well, you're going to have half of the nation who's watching whenever they rewatch this. They're going to be so jelly with all that beautiful weather there. You know,
It's awesome. 80 degrees today. It's absolutely incredible.
I'm jealous, man.
You're good. Thank you again for being here. So, Luis, you want to start us off, and or we can just we were going to ask Jeremy. You want to just give the short, in a nutshell, introduction for those who are not as familiar with you, and even if they are.
Short introduction. George is 5'2". There you go. There's the short introduction. But her path.
You're going to take that, George. Look, she walked away. She's like, enough of this.
So, short introduction. We started on YouTube. Well, I started, 2+ years ago. Started reselling when I was a teenager. I'm 43 now, and so now it's reselling and YouTube. And I was a landlord at the age of 21. Landlord, real estate. So,
okay. So business has always been in your blood.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just part of who I am. It's just absolutely part of who I am.
So you said 13 years old when you started reselling?
I was a teenager when I was reselling. So I don't know. I probably was reselling at 13. I don't know, but I was a teenager. eBay, you name it. I was loving it. I was flipping it.
Nice. Awesome. Are you still participating on platforms like eBay or whatever it is?
So that's a good question. Part of growing a business is scaling a business, obviously, and knowing what you can do and knowing what you should do. And part of what I've done with my business is I only buy now. The selling is easy. I can teach somebody very quickly within 30 seconds to find the price of an item on eBay, how to list it, and be done. And so, or whether it's Facebook Marketplace and then have an employee meet somebody. And so that part is really easy. I mean, in my opinion, I realize that's, it's just my opinion, but the hard part is knowing all the knowledge that's up here and knowing what to buy, when to buy. And that's what my expertise is. And then I pass it off to other people to then sell it. And that's what I think is the easiest part. Jeremy already knew what to buy. He bought it. Now, okay, now the employee takes it over and goes, all right, now I'm gonna flip this for him.
Because especially if you just even know simple as categorizations and niches and stuff like there. I know 100 watch people. Let's just buy it up, whatever, wherever your resources, and whatnot. I was going to ask you a question, but let me let Luis go because I'm always butting him out. I like to, ask one of the questions. Luis, jump in. He's my silent partner.
Yeah. So I know you do all the storage auctions and you guys buy storage lockers and all that. How long have you guys been doing that? Have you guys been doing that for a while now?
George has been in it since you met me. So just about two and a half years now. Before that, he wasn't a part of it. But I've been doing it. I don't know. I've just been doing auctions forever. I've just been doing it for as long as I can remember. I'll see if I can get George in the shot here. So now, here we go.
Leave me alone.
She's just relaxing.
Tell her I said she didn't sign up for this. She's like, I didn't sign up for this. I want to relax.
Yeah. She's been working all day. So she's doing 99% of the time it's me editing all the videos for the channel, but she's putting a best finds for 2020 and a worst finds for 2020 video together. So she's just
some work.
She's been editing, going through the past year's videos, which is pretty crazy.
This is the time to decompress. So we talk about stuff like that, being mindful, both as a reseller, as a business person, merchant, whatever you want to call yourself, but like in our line of work. And I like to say the one reason we brought this show, this program, is, it's really for anybody, but like it's kind of a contribution as a service. You know, like we go to church, we do service for people if we can and help. You know, like how can we be mindful in times of like, you know, fourth quarter's over, people are stressed out, whatever, they're spent, whatnot. There's this decompression thing, and it sounds like watching you guys for as long as I have, which is not very long. It's maybe some of your best fans, but I know that you guys put a lot of work into it. I think you're what, at like 300K or something like that. And so where do you find the time to decompress between all those projects?
Decompression. I think you have to know who you are and what your needs are. So example, for me, decompression isn't good. Decompression for me isn't going and laying at a beach. So even though we've been at the beach the past 4 days in a row, George would be the first to tell you, I cannot stop. It's a treasure hunt. And so it's me filming the treasure hunt. What shell can we find? How much is it worth? Tomorrow we're going to Venice Beach. We're going to go look for megalodon teeth. Megalodon teeth sell for upwards of $5,000 a piece. And so decompression for me is very different than decompression for somebody else. Decompression for me is work, because I love what I do, and if I get bored, that's
your brain's never stopping. You're just like constantly.
It typically, I don't. Well, George would probably say different. She probably says I have no brains, but you know, that's.
She looks over now.
She's looking over.
So you have to figure out what works for you. The one thing that I will say for decompression for entrepreneurs, people who are self-employed, the whole goal is for you not to have to work.
Yes.
And so your goal is to build a business, put everything you can into the business. Again, this is just my biases, so take it for what it's worth. But your goal should be to put everything into the business, start the business up, hand the reins over, and pay somebody else to run the business. The most affluent people, the most affluent people understand that the most valuable thing isn't money; it's time. And what you can pay somebody else to do opens up your schedule to do other things, such as. We've, for the past 4 days, have been filming videos of finding shells. It's work, it's YouTube work, but it's also it gets George on the beach where she wants to be, where she decompresses that way, and it gets me on the beach where
maybe decompression isn't necessarily the only word, but like, you know, some people call it downtime, relax, or whatever. But where's that fine balance of like, well, if I'm going to do work, I'd rather do it close to a beach, or if you're into mountains, you do it there. And so, and I understand recently, as of late, you're in a move. You finalized your move.
So we are in Florida. We are under contract for 70 acres. And all of that purchase is for business, and frankly, it's very heavy on the YouTube side of things as far as why we purchased the property. But we were supposed to close on December 23rd, and unfortunately, they have moved out the close date to January 13th now, and that hurts us financially. That hurts us. You know, I spoke about that last night on our live stream, but there's deeper things than that. There are, with a business at the scale that we're at, I have expenses that I need to have before the end of the year to minimize taxes. And I was just on a phone call with my CPA just a couple hours ago. He goes, "Hey, you know, you got to spend more money." And I mean, that hurts us in the long term financially. But it also hurts us with trying to continue with the resale business, trying to continue with filming for YouTube. All the way around, us not getting on the property actually hurts us in many, many, many different ways. But we want to get on the property as soon as possible. It's under contract. They just dragging their feet like crazy, and it's driving us nuts.
So I love the way you put it. You said it hurts us. You're not complaining. You're not lamenting. You're being mindful, like to at least acknowledge it, and like saying this is just not a position we'd like to be, so to speak.
Yeah, it's not a position that we'd like to be in, and I mean we could, and we've looked at other pieces of property, but I mean we're pretty dead set on this piece of property and what it can do for the YouTube channel growths, and so it's not ideal, but it is what it is right now.
It's just a matter of time. And in saying that, like I said, you're not complaining. We're not. that's one of the things I want to say about your persona, which is like kind of a personality as you as a YouTuber, and in light of your business, like one of the things I want to say that I've picked up on is you have a perfect example of projection of like positivity. You know, you don't really stem off of the negative aspects, which, you know, other than like, and people may say, well, isn't all the drama like a negative? And I'm like, I don't think so. It's just a part of it. It's a part it's a formula or something like that, you know? And
well, it's a very successful formula for YouTube if you're making videos.
That's true. Yep.
So you figure that out. I remember a while back, was it OBXs when you were with Sam and Eric, you talked about that. I don't necessarily want to go there, but like if you have anything new to add to it or something, like you said, there are aspects to like understanding the analytics. You know, figuring out is a whole different issue, you know. But it's like once you get there and you know it works for you, why you're gonna, you know, do twice as much work, do it, and get it out, you know, and figure out that little bit of a.
Yeah, in regards to YouTube, I mean, and again, this is my opinion, so take it for what it's worth. YouTube has been the easiest thing in the world for us, and I realize so many people struggle, but it was really easy for us because we found out, you know, a lot of resellers do videos, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they do videos on information, and that information is usually time-based. If it's an eBay video, you know, eBay changes all the time. If it's an Amazon video, Amazon changes all the time. If it's hey, this is what sold on eBay, there's no hook to get somebody to watch to the end of your video. And so if you want to be successful on YouTube, you've got to find a drama hook, and you have to get people to watch the video from the beginning to the end. That's how you are successful on YouTube. You have to get them to click.
Timeless basis. You know, like you know, like you said, you know, maybe it's about this. Hey, look what sold today. Blah blah blah. That was like 2 years ago. You know, who wants to watch that? When if somebody's interested in, let's say, for example, your video, coin pushing videos, there is no time base for that. So either you're going to enjoy it or you don't. You know, and that's something that to me is like a brilliant aspect. You know, of like perceiving, you know, like this is what works. And look, it doesn't have to be, it could be from 7 years ago and somebody goes, oh my God, what's this? You know, that could be the first leeway into it, you know. But you know, when did that really trigger the first time? And what was it? Was it auctions? Was it the coin thing? What, or even if it wasn't YouTube?
It was one of the very first videos that I did, and I bought a storage unit. I never thought anybody in a million years would want to watch any of this stuff, and it was just me. There was no George at this point in time. It was just me, and I did an unboxing video of a storage unit that I bought. It was like 45 minutes, and that video still today has like over 500,000 views. And I went, I cannot believe this. I mean, I can't believe people watch this.
But it's an element of surprise, you know.
And there I went, oh my goodness, there's something here. There's something here. And so I've learned the small nuances of, you know, you want drama. Don't get interpersonal people-to-people drama, but you want drama. Like today's video is titled, You Can't Unsee This. And we found something that, you know, the whole thumbnail is going to be, man, there it is, hand in the face. And you know, it's drama because I'm putting my hand in the camera's face. That's the drama. And the teaser is George, look away, because we found something that I didn't want her to see. And then it drags to the end, and not drags, but you know, you get them along to that climax at the end of, all right, this is the thing that Jeremy didn't want the camera to see. So that's the drama.
To be like what people call hook and bait, but it's another thing to kind of go, let's go along for the ride, and can you still flip on that skateboard or whatever, you know, on the sponge and roll with it, you know. Let's go back to your auctions and your storage auctions. I mean, has that always been something you like really want to stagnate with? Is it just because it's just, you know, or is it something you want to see yourself kind of divide from eventually, or you think you always do those?
I have always been involved in auctions, always love auctions. I always love the treasure hunt. I don't think my body is going to be able to take doing storage units forever. And because because usually I'm the one that's actually loading them, and especially with having any employees yet in Florida, which we'll hire down in Florida as well. But we have to get everything going first. So for me, loading, unloading, that's your body can only take so much of that. And we often talk that we want the treasure hunting channel to kind of take the back door to the ASMR channel. And with us being down in Florida, the ASMR channel is going to be a bigger highlight, especially with the property that we're purchasing. And ASMR hits a much, much, much bigger audience. And so when you look at what will have a bigger impact, it's the ASMR channel. So we're never going to stop the auctions. Don't think I'll ever stop the treasure hunting. But
maybe how you go about it might be a little different.
Yeah. And frankly, if I told you, hey, invest this $100 here and you'll get $200 after a week, or invest your $100 here and you'll get $2,000 after a week, where would you invest your $100?
Of course.
Well, you're going to get $2,000, the more return for your bang for your buck, right? Well, that's the ASMR channel. The ASMR channel will return more bang for the buck.
For those who don't know, please just explain to them what the ASMR channel is versus what you said.
ASMR is basically, it's calming, relaxing. We like to do nature. So we're going to try and record the ocean and the pier today. So the ASMR is it's an auditory response kind of thing, and gives you tingles down the spine, and you relax, you fall asleep, things like that.
Well, I mean, the fact is there's different type of viewers. There's people that'll come on and immediately it triggers them, or it's going to enlighten them in a way where like, oh, it's like the first time I went, what is Jeremy up to? What is the coin pushing all about? Here we go. Let me watch this for a second. And then it's like, okay, I see it. I understand. There's this gravitational pull, so to speak, and it just, there it goes, and it's like, it's like a meditation almost, but it's like, and you can't move away. Just it's like I don't know if he showed up in the chat, but Leroy is blood, sweat, and sales, and he fell in love with you. Like when he goes, I can't stop watching that, and I'm like, I can understand.
Well, if you go back and you look at our coin pushing, we learned through the process of videoing the coin pushers what we could do and what we couldn't do as far as what you do. So it got to a point in the coin pushers where Jeremy, we told stories. I was like, I'm telling every story I can possibly come up with. And the reason why that happened is because the more stories I told, the longer people would watch. And the longer people would watch, the more YouTube would push the videos. And the more YouTube pushed the videos.
It's very hypnotizing. It's clever. I mean, I think it's one of the most brilliant ways to here it is, Let me ask you this real quick, because I don't want to lose you. And all of a sudden it's like, Jeremy's gone. With respect to that, have you segregated your YouTube channels? Do you only have one YouTube channel, right?
We have two channels. We've got more than two channels. We have two channels that we publicly talk about. And so that would be What the Hales and What the ASMR.
The ASMR. Okay, good. So that's what I'm talking about. And so Luis, did you want to go back and ask him anything about auctions or anything per se? Because Luis is our auction guy. I don't know if you know this, Jeremy. Luis, he has a weekly auction he's been doing for some time. This guy, he's a dead giant. Like he's one of those silent giants where you think he's dead and quiet. No, he gets up and he's a dad. He's a principal, a teacher. He full-time reselling. And he does wholesale. You tell him, Luis.
Wow. Yeah, I just do a little bit. I wear a lot of hats, pretty much. But yeah, I mean, my question is, how do you deal with the stresses of doing the auctions and then storage, doing with the storage lockers and all that? What do you do to help you kind of decompress when you have so much going on? I know you do a lot, and I know you say you're always out there, always looking for the treasure all the time. So when you feel like you have,
like you said, the body thing is going to only take so much over time.
Yeah. George, how do I decompress? She says I don't. I decompress. I mean, honestly, I decompress by continuing to work. I love working. So
you said it last night on your auction. You're like, I've been doing this 12 hours a day, and it's like, yada yada yada. So,
sometimes I don't know. I mean, the way for us to decompress is go find more treasure. For me, George is very different. George absolutely has to have that decompression time. She has to have that, done.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm in that situation, there's something wrong with me, because that's not me. It's okay. The decompression is, let's go find some more treasure. Let's see what else we can do. And
because it's like that interlying, between of like, for resellers, we have that FOMO, like, oh, but I have so much crap in the back, as you can see here. What it's like if I don't go out and get that, but it's like the constant, like, either you work or you be lazy, and it's like, I'd rather like continue to collect stuff like a squirrel collecting nuts that it doesn't need for the winter, but
yeah. Well, you know what? The squirrel collecting the nuts, all the resellers out there who are collecting nuts in their death pile, or what we call our profit pile, 2020 came and made resellers a lot of money. A lot.
It had to be like a certain something like, who the Hales knew that puzzles were going to sell all year long, whatever you had, I had stuff sitting there forever, whatnot. Let me ask you a question, Jeremy. So what was the earliest age that you recall? Like, you were wanting to be, or you were being interested in like entertainment, because you do definitely have this wonderful persona. You're able, and I think you work overly hard on that,
George says in third grade, I knew I wanted to be a Christian camp director. So she's going third grade is when, but I don't know. I started in Christian camping when I was 16. And so you are entertaining kids and adults. And then I went on to run Christian camps and conference centers. And, a big part of that is you're entertaining them during their leisure time. And so there is that aspect of it. And there is entertainment Jeremy on YouTube. And then you'll find, just like Louise, you're wearing many hats. If you get one-on-one with me, like if you were here at Sanibel Island with me right now and we just talked business, you will get 100% Jeremy Hales businessman. That's it. Now you'll find out part of the business in YouTube is entertainment. And so once it's time for YouTube, the camera goes on, you have to be entertaining. That's part of the business plan. So I don't know. I've just always,
because it seems at some point people are always, you know what I mean? And this is just my surmisation. It's not just me speculating, and it's partial observation, but I mean, I think you do it so successfully, for obvious reasons, but it's like, that's why I asked you the key question, like, what was the youngest? Because if you're doing that, you weren't just entertaining, like you said, because I worked at a Christian camp too, and it was for physically and mentally disabled. And let me tell you, they wanted you to play guitar, put on a play, do this, but at the same time, we had to change diapers, we had a counsel. The guy that was running it, the director, was back home. Just call me if there's a fire, And it's like you did everything. You like you said, like you told Luis, you are balancing these hats. So you obviously knew about time management. You were doing all kinds of structural different elements, keeping things in order, and at the same time, you're keeping the peace. Like, hey, let's sing a song. Everybody, calm down. And then time to go to bed. And I don't. Do you think some of that management structure came from that in terms of like?
I'm sure working in Christian camping has taught me so much and has been foundational in future success. I firmly believe that everybody, like some people go, hey, if you want to learn, how to work, everybody should work retail, or everybody should work a restaurant. I go in a whole nother direction. I go, everybody should work a summer at summer camp. And you will learn more about yourself and more about the real life and more about people and relationships. And it could go on and on and on than you ever can in any other position. And so I think a lot of that is foundational.
Yeah, I like that. That's thank you for answering that. That was a good, the foundational aspect, I think a lot of us forget. And when resellers seem to kind of go adrift and everybody does their own little thing, like some of them get burned out, whatnot. That seems like that has been something I've heard as of late, and that's one reason we wanted to put this channel was like, do you have those kind of challenges? And I don't say issues. Everybody has an issue, but when do you allow it to be just a challenge so that you can go back to your foundation, find the center, you know, and maintain your focus so you can elevate. Because, you know, if you don't want to do it, you shouldn't be doing it, you know. But if you are doing it, what can you do to refine it and get better? Like, where do you want to be in another 5 years, Jeremy, with your channels?
Florida. I don't. Where do we want to be in 5 years? We talk about goals all the time. So
by then, 5 years, you should have the deal.
We have yearly goals.
Okay.
And we set goals for the channel. We set goals for the business and stuff. Have we talked about 5 years out? George wants to have her very own channel, and she wants to just do real simple stuff on her own channel. I know that.
Tell George I loved her channel she had with, I think it was a panel of some ladies one day.
Yeah.
And I know she's busy, but maybe that'll take off.
She's going to be hosting in January, but George wants to break away from the treasure hunting channel. She wants to have her own channel, which you'll never see her or her face. She'll just be doing other ASMR type things. And again, you know, same with me and George with the other ASMR channel. But we also understand that that's just a huge area that can explode on YouTube, and that can be a huge area of success. But we're never going to abandon the treasure hunting channel. It's still going to be there.
Right. No. I mean, because I guess part of that question is, you know, it's like, it's not about whether you want to, like, you know, engage or disengage with something else. It's like Luis and I talk about this all the time. It's like, how can we diversify our investment, and how can we see multiple sources of income come in? Because, like, if you have more than one channel and it happens to be successful, why wouldn't you want to, you know, split off and do something similar? Like, I see a lot of the, so to speak, godfathers, you know, like I watched in the last year, was it, like Part-Time Picker, you know, Matt, he finalized, like, okay, here's my sourcing videos, and then here's my talking about it and how much it's sold for, whatever. And I'm like, brilliant, you know. And quickly it went off, you know, and like, however, whatever it is that they want to do. Luis, did you have anything you want to ask and kind of go off on? I do have a couple other questions, but.
Well, no, I mean, he answered one of the questions when he's why they have different, you know, streams of income to do, and he has different projects doing that. So he pretty much answered one of my questions already.
Yeah, he did. He does it well. So yeah, I'm sorry, we're just kind of going off the cuff. We didn't want to press you on me. What's that?
Oh, George did whisper. She said in 5 years we want our own storage unit business, but we have plans for that in Ohio and in Florida, and that's part of buying the property as well. But we want the channel to make a positive impact in people's lives, and whether that's restoring the love, we would love to buy every unit and restorage it. Yeah. So, you know, that is part of the bigger plan as well. So, you know, we rental property, storage unit, all goes under rental. You know, all of that can grow bigger, and we want it to ultimately have a massive impact positively on people.
And it can, yeah, because you've probably seen the ins and outs of storage units. From how long you said that you've been doing storage units for, like 5 years or more?
Oh no, way longer. We've seen just about everything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want to ask you the boring, redundant, and I know you've been asked those kind of like, what's the worst scenario you've seen, but let me ask you this. So regarding Luis and I did make an observation, like I've seen it in the past. We love one thing we noticed. It was last night when you were, by the way, if anybody is watching, if you don't know, down below, subscribe to Jeremy and George below. What the Hales? If you don't know them, check them out. See their channel. Everything's linked down below. So last night you had which is one of your par for your courses. You have occasional on Sundays, I believe it is. You have your strictly kind of a get together, and it turns into an auction quite quickly, like within the first half hour or so, or hour after. And we noticed. I said, what do you think, Luis? Because Luis and I have actually done auctions together. Luis has been trying to get me in it for a while. And I'm like, I don't know. And just give it a shot. And I'm like, wow, I can see this happening. I see why this works. And I'm thinking about how interesting it works on YouTube specifically. You have a unique way you go about it, I noticed. One is you don't mess around. You're like, okay, 59 seconds, you know, and then it comes together. I know kind of why. I think I have my answer. Luis may have a different perspective. Give us your reason, like why right then and there. Like you take a long time showing this stuff, But then when it comes down to selling it, you don't mess around.
Well, couple different reasons why the minute to win it. So I think that's what you're asking. Why the minute to win it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So George and I went back and forth on this whole auction thing for quite some time, and I was completely and totally against it. And George was all for it, and I was against it because I said it would kill our view duration in YouTube. And once you kill your average view duration, you kill your channel. YouTube doesn't push it out as much. But we've found the opposite to be true. And we always said Sunday would be the day off where we're not putting an active if we put out a video every Sunday, we'd be even bigger than what we are now, because that's the most viewed day. But we've taken that back. I mean, think of it as the Chick-fil-A philosophy. We've taken that back. We said this day is for church, and then this day is going to be for getting together with a live stream. We're kicking back. And I think that's been really successful because people think they engage with you and they feel like and we think, of them as part of a relationship with us.
Good.
And so George went into, can we do these auctions? And I was against it. And she started on her channel and there's not as much viewing. So she finally talked me into it, and I went, okay, but we are not doing this boring thing that everybody other channel is doing. I was like, the whole boring thing, as soon as I looked at another auction on another channel, I was like, I'm out. I was like, we're not doing that. There has to be something that keeps people engaged. If we can't keep them engaged, then there's no reason to even do it, because we killed the channel. So in other words, the philosophy would be we would have lost $1,000 to make $1. So we kill the channel, the complete channel, and average view duration to make a few bucks in the auction. But part of that is giving back to people as well, saying, hey, you couldn't source during COVID. That was really what did it for me. She's like, well, people don't have anything to sell right now. And I went, all right, this will be part of our Restorage the Love, but it has to be done right. And I went, we're not going to dilly-dally. It's got to be to the point. Boom. Let's do minute to win it. That'll be fun. She was against it. And we started, and I went, well, let's do one item minute to win it. And then we'll do one just normal. We'll just let them bid. And then we'll do the next one minute to win it. We did the first one minute to win it. And then we never did anything but that. So it just happened that it works. And there's so many people, viewing as well. It keeps
it's so
things
helpful when you find
a
part of the strategy in your business model, like you said, whether it's the time management aspect of or it's analytics of percentage of viewers versus whatever, but that you do that for your intention. It's noticed. I think I really do believe that. Like I told Luis, I don't want to do this show anymore if it's not going to at least contribute a healthy dialogue, whether you agree or disagree. And if you don't do that, and we don't have a lot of viewers, we're new, we're starting, but that's not what it's about. It's about that people can come back and watch. And I do watch the numbers creep up, as little as they are. Well, we don't have substantial numbers, but that's not the point. Eventually, somebody's going to go, "Hey, I didn't know that. When did you interview Jeremy or Chris from whatever? It's like Daily Refinement or something. And you're like, oh yeah. By the way, Chris, when I was interviewing Daily Refinement, he was like, look at Jeremy. Jeremy's here. And he's like, he's just a guy, And it's funny because somebody like Part-Time Picker talks about that. But it's the contribution. I do agree with you. It's that contribution and engagement within the community that somehow says something back. Yeah, you're doing an auction, but to you maybe it's not much, but to another person that means a lot.
It could mean a ton to them. Yeah, we've got some people that are buying from us, and they'll straight up tell us, you're our sourcing, and so now it's become important every Sunday night that with all the lockdowns and everything, and it took George was right, I was wrong, I was completely against it, but
say that loud again so she could hear you.
George was right and I was wrong, but once
I couldn't hear you.
Once she framed it to me and she sold it to me and she's like, this is going to help people source. This follows our Restorage the Love philosophy. And I went, okay.
That's awesome. Having a partner that does that, you can hear it. Yeah. It's one thing if you're listening, but to hear it. And then it goes, okay, I get it. Yeah.
Once she sold it to me as it fits what the channel is about, I went, okay, let's go for it. Now we're all in. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Actually,
Well,
Emily had a question.
Yeah.
That she
And
posted.
so did
Jeremy.
Brendan. Go back to Brendan too. Go ahead.
Yeah, she said, "How do you balance it all?"
Okay, Emily, here's the first thing you need to know. Everybody is uniquely created different. And so one person may be able to balance a whole bunch, and another person may be able to balance little. And neither is right and neither is wrong. You just have to understand how God created you in his own image, celebrate that, and go, this is my capacity. So if somebody looks at me and goes, how do you balance it all? I just go, what do you mean? This is easy. And it is. For me, the way that God wired me, it's easy. I don't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
But there are things that Emily can do that I would just boggle my mind. I would never in a million years be able to understand how Emily does some of the things that she does. And I'd be like, how the Hales do you do that? But God wired her and created her differently to be able to do those things. So I think what it is knowing who you are, know your personality, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and then figure out where, I mean, in essence, you hit on the sweet spot of the bat and you hit a home run. And for me, one of my skills is taking a lot of information and doing a lot of different things, and I can manage that very, very easily. But I can't do that without employees, and that is part of the thing that you absolutely have to get to a point of going.
First
you
structure,
need
and then
help.
build off of that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great question. There's a lot of the person that asked that too is Brendan Sparks. He says you got to balance your time. He said that I think a little bit before Emily mentioned that too. And then we got another one. By the way, we got Lego Man of the Midwest is here. He's still in high school. I hope your classes have finished. So welcome. He says, how do you deal with people who don't pay or just have a bad attitude? That's a whole different question. But
Bad attitude people are really easy to take care of, especially on YouTube. You block them, you delete their comments. We have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who get blocked. Last night when we did We're Homeless, we knew people were going to click on the thumbnail. And so most people go, oh man, this is Jeremy. He's such a jerk. And I'll even go to another one. George, we found a unit and the person passed away of cancer, and George went, let's do me crying as the thumbnail on cancer. She's like, everybody will click on it. It'll get views. So most of the time, everybody thinks it's me. It's George.
No, I was going to ask you, I mean, in terms of ideas or conceptual contributions in terms of whether it's your thumbnail or ideas so she's right there with you on that stuff.
Yeah, we talk about the aspect of the thumbnail almost on a daily, every video. It's what is the story, what's the thumbnail,
and so we're always George is listening. Who's right most of the time? Who's right 51% of the time or more?
She's giggling.
No comment. No.
So negative people, you just block them and delete them. And even last night,
like if you're working off of platforms and whatnot, I've learned one thing, and I tell this a lot. I think actually I talked about this on the show: is don't take things so personal. Like if you're doing an interaction one-to-one with an email, you can't avoid them on eBay, but you can just be very business-like. Thank you very much. Okay, you want your money back? Block. Never deal with
them. Block them afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah. So last night with our live stream when we went We're Homeless, we are telling people we're not in our home yet. We don't have a home to go home to. And there's probably, I would say, 25 people that were extremely offended by that. Well, if you're extremely offended that we put We're Homeless, we're not your channel. Pure and simple. We are not your channel.
Wrote that you were homeless. Did you? I don't remember. Maybe you did.
We put it on the thumbnail and the title. And so we're not your channel. If you and people even wrote nasty stuff like, I hope you do go homeless and well, if you follow the channel, everybody would know I lost everything to a divorce. I gave everything up. I literally was rooting through garbage to keep myself warm at night. And so that's, I mean, to go, hey, I hope you are. But for us, it's just block and delete, block and delete, block and delete. If you can't go down the path with us, then we're not going to let you carry on to make your silly comment.
Yeah. Precisely. Yeah. I mean, like I don't know.
And we're not say that cup of tea. We're not trying to be.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. I mean, because not everybody likes flower tea. Some people like the one you can put milk in it. Whatever. Put their sugar in it. Is that your doggy? Whose doggy is that?
Not
That was
mine.
mine. That's mine. Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay. I was like, Jeremy, you got a dog? All right. So I think I asked that question. Oh yeah. So back to like what it is kind of something I was going to ask. So no, I guess that doesn't work anymore. That question's mutt. But it does have to do with boundaries. So like, for example, one thing that I've had Emily Conway on here. She was my first guest. She was great and sweet, and she, like you said, was just true to herself. I think she knows, more than she's. But it's always that stage of confidence that sometimes we do kind of go through. Like, is that the right thing to do, or they can be really terrible at it and go, oh my God, I don't know if I can ever live through this. But the whole idea is like once you experience where you're at, what you want to do with these kind of attributes, especially if you're going to be a YouTuber or a reseller and a YouTuber, it's like where have you found your most challenging and your most successful manners of boundaries? Like for you, I know it's easy with tools like click block, but like when is the biggest challenge of boundary been for you, Jeremy, if I can ask?
Do you mean like boundaries with people or boundaries with work time, or you mean just all the way around?
Let's talk. Can we ask you like let's just say members, boundaries, like
with
just
people.
Just people, yeah.
Okay, so what we've learned that we learned very quick, and unfortunately the hard way. Don't just collaborate with anybody. And I'm just going to say this as pure and simple as I possibly can. We have learned that many resellers are resellers, and I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but many resellers are resellers because they have either mental or physical issues or emotional issues, and they don't work well in the 9-to-5 world, and therefore that is how they generate an income, and that's fantastic. But the issue that we have is when they try and cross boundaries and create relational issues on the channel or with other people, and many
there's
YouTube
just like tensions or something,
Yeah, there's a lot of channels. There's a lot of channels where they go, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, and they'll just backstab and they'll talk trash and they'll talk garbage. We will not in it. So then we're garbage because we won't participate. As soon as that starts, we will block that channel, all communication. And we learned very early on, do not just collaborate with anybody. Don't promote just anybody. Don't do this with anybody.
I call those the climbers. They're the social networkers. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we learned that the hard way, and so we're we have a much stronger wall and boundary to that now. And we have absolutely no tolerance for backstabbing, for relational drama, for
challenges, whatever.
You can go on and on and on with it. Talking about other YouTubers, talking about we have no tolerance for the negativity. It will not be a part of our channel, and nor is it going to be a part of our lives. So that is boom.
There isn't
right
enough
there.
time if you're running a business. You know what I mean? And I'm glad you're affording us this information because it is a sharing. This is about being mindful. Like if you're running a business, why would you have time to sit there in a tornado of drama? We're not a novella. Save that for YouTube.
So those are probably the biggest boundaries in regards to, relationship wise. We've had to sever relationships and I go back to the analogy. If I told you to invest $100 here in, product A, and you can in a week get $200, or invest $100 in product B and get $2,000, where are you going to invest your money? Well, where you get $2,000. Well, you have to do the same thing with your time. Yes. And so our time will never be invested into people who are negative, people are backbiting, who people are, our time is going to be invested in people who love and people that want to help people grow. And that's where we're going to put our investment, because that's where we get the most return for our time investment.
Well, in saying all that, first and foremost, thank you again for being here. We know your time is precious and valuable. We're coming up close to about a 10-minute mark. If you're welcome to stay a little longer if you want. We try not to hold our guests for more than an hour. And we thank you, George.
May die at any time, so I may lose connection, but we're good.
Got it. Duly noted. So, in saying what you said, thank you for being on our channel. I've already had a couple of people reach out and I go, how did you get to, I said, it just depends. It's a business, deal, it's like, but it's also, I think, what is your intention for wanting somebody to be with you? Your time is valuable. Are you sincere in what you're trying to portray? Because to me, I'm socially awkward. I don't think I ever really wanted to go on YouTube. And to this day, I'm like, what is it? Why am I here? What is this? What do you have to say? What is your voice? And what do you have to contribute? You know what I mean? And I know you do, because you're bringing in a different type of story and a different type of message. And I think you do have some good social contributions that obviously, you wouldn't be where you're at, but it's also like, is it for pure business intention? Who knows where the stories go? And, there's so many out there. It's a great connection, but it's in a time that I think in the last year, we realized this is a good time to kind of like reanalyze what's going on with the world. And this is how we are. Do you remember? Let me ask you this. Here's my trick question. Are you ready for this, Jeremy?
Bring it.
Do you remember Max Headroom? Oh, come on.
Okay, give him some time. He's thinking about it. I'm sure.
I got him.
It'll hit him right now. Give him a sec. Give him a few seconds.
Early 90s.
Keep going.
Early 90s. You were a baby. You're probably still in your diapers. No, you're probably, who knows? You were doing some business transactions. Long story short, it was something that came out of the UK. It did transform into United States television. I don't remember which channel. And there was an American actor, but it was about this. It was a weird apocalyptic story about this man that lived in a tube, but he was robotic or something like that. But I thought, this is the time we're living in. We're talking in these tubes, just YouTube it after. We won't go on about it, but
yeah.
You're going to go Max Headroom, Max. And you're going to, once you see it, you're going to go, I got to get a t-shirt, because it was on MTV for a while. Like they would use his little clips and he would go, da, 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 da. It's like, my name's Max Headroom, and it's like, and I went, that's never going to happen. There's this TV on top of a big fire pit and somebody would be talking to him. And it was almost like Android, like telling him stories. And I thought, that's where we are today. This is part of the YouTube culture, and it's like, it's amazing how we are here. But how did it contribute, And it, like everybody like had this negative reaction to Max Headroom, but he's the guy with the answers. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, where do you want to spend your time with? Who do you want to be with? And as much as I do. I don't know how you balance what you do. And then do you have time in YouTube? And do you like to watch YouTube? Other people?
Well, we do enjoy watching other channels, but we don't have time to do it anymore because YouTube is so labor intensive for us. I did just try and hire an overseas editor, and I gave him a video to edit so that I could take that off of my plate. And unfortunately, it was exact opposite of what I wanted it to communicate in the editing. And so as soon as I fired as well. So
thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's what it was. And so I tried that. We were excited about trying that, and that didn't work for us. Hey, Eric asked if we were fishing. We were going to go magnet fishing today, but there were so many people up on the pier that there's no way we could even fit on the magnet fish. But I did get a good video of somebody catching a pelican. So that'll be fun.
Okay. Well, we wish you much luck and fortune and prosperous 2021. We hope this deal settles up very quick for you. And we want to just thank you, Luis. You want to close us out here? I mean, I want to be respectful of Jeremy and George's time.
No, definitely. No, like I said, just appreciate both you and George for joining us today. And I'm going to continue watching your auctions on Sundays if you guys continue doing them in your lives. Like I said,
he's got a unique style, and I think you guys can learn a little bit from it. But also, if you're brave enough, you can get a good deal. It's in there.
Believe me, he auctioned out some great stuff last night.
I was mad.
If you guys missed it, go to his channel and check it out. He auctioned off some great stuff last night.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Well, Jeremy, do you have anything you want to finish up with some wise words of wisdom from whatever the hell you want to say.
Thank you guys for having us on. And as far as wisdom, I probably lack a lot of that. But useless knowledge, there's some of that here and there and everywhere. But words of wisdom, I got nothing. I'm sorry, I got nothing.
Well, you said it early. You said be yourself. Just do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Always be yourself.
Stay on for a second. We're just going to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you in the chat. We're sorry we didn't say hi to everybody. Mookie Pookie, Kathy's Corner. We got Brendan Sparks, Simply Dana. We are just so grateful. Reseller Niche Mo was here. OBX Eric. The Lego Man of Midwest. Thank you for joining us. He's a nice young man. And
Jody Bada Bing was in here too.
Joey. We had a whole. I can't even start to go back. But thank you guys. Until next year, we will not see you with the Mindful Merchants. Jeremy's closed us out for the end of this year, so we're grateful. Yeah. And like and subscribe. Check out his channel. Give him chances on different. You might find a different aspect of what he. And remember, he's got more than one channel. See if you can find all other 40. And well, thank you very much. Let's just say maintain your focus and elevate. Thank you for being here and be a mindful merchant.
Thanks, everyone.
In 3, 2, 1, bye.